Welcome everybody, and welcome to our April conference on the importance of face-to-face engagement. I'm just going to hang on a few minutes to allow everyone to join. And we've got some exciting speakers to introduce to you, so I'm going to wait a couple of minutes to allow everyone in, and then we will start. Okay. Great to see some familiar faces and some new faces. Welcome everybody. Okay, I am going to start because we've got some great speakers to listen to, and again, being all over the world, their time scales means we can't be here for too long. But it's got another exciting conference for you about the importance of face-to-face engagement, and with some amazing speakers. Obviously, I'm going to do my quick introduction, and then we have Stuart and Mayasa from Lebanon. Actually, Stuart's in England, but Mayasa's from Lebanon, and they're going to speak to us through a presentation, a recorded presentation. Then we have Sandia and then Jeremy, and we will have a question and answer session at the end or during as well. For those of you who are not part of the Global School Alliance, we are hosting this conference to an amazing community. It is a fantastic way to engage and interact with educators around the world. It's free to join us, so please do. And the whole aim is to partner with each other, but to share best practice, support each other, improve the outcomes of students, develop global citizenship. I think we all realize the value now of how important it is to prepare students to be part of a global society, and that is the whole aim of the Global School Alliance. We want to help connect you and support you with some exciting opportunities for student face-to-face engagement and online projects, and just to getting together. So please do join us. It's a free community. It means you can connect with our platform and access our free conferences like this. We have amazing student councils, a fantastic award scheme, lots of resources and ways to connect and engage with each other. Because we have some amazing members here, we have some great blogs, we have some great resources and projects being shared. So please join us and contribute. We're always looking for more inspirational educators to share your experiences with us. We've developed a new role, and you can join as an ordinary member, or if you want to become more active and support and help us grow the community, you can become an ambassador, and have a word with John about that after. There is a link here that you can click on and apply to join us for that. We have our award scheme, because we want to celebrate and recognize the schools that are developing their global dimensions. It's a nice, simple step and easy way to get recognized. We will support you all the way, and we want everybody to be gold accredited, which means you're doing the face-to-face, you're getting students moving around the world. You have that long-term relationship with the school to enable a sustainable partnership. That is a whole aim of our awards, and we want to support you to get there. So again, John is probably the person to speak to about that, but please do get involved. And the whole aim of supporting schools is to help with partnerships, help embed your international approach, get your global dimensions. I think having it embedded means it's more sustainable or long term. It's great to have the leadership on board, and it has a better outcome for the students. And obviously, travel, now that it's possible again, is life-changing and is one of our ultimate goals. Not the only goal, but I think it is the one that has the most impact on and life-changing. So this is how we want to be able to support all schools involved. We have just launched our new cohort of programs. Without the full accreditation, the full support for the global school transformation, there are 20 places available for the summer term as well. So do apply. The whole point of the whole support program to get you to gold accreditation is to help find partners, to help set you up on our platform, to help become active digitally, to help organize your trips and hosting. And we also want to train and recognize international coordinators. That is a role that is so important and is undervalued, I think. So we are looking at the certification and accrediting the international coordinators, getting that role recognized. So there's a whole training scheme for you in there as well. So please get involved. If you want our support with all that, have a look at the Global School Transformation Program that's out there. So like I say, it's a no-brainer. Join us, please do. It's free to join. Come along to our amazing events. Get involved in the awards program. Student Council Voice. We've got a secondary student council next week. They're doing some amazing things. This is where we give them agency, give them a chance to connect with peers around the world to do projects too. So please join us, and thank you for attending tonight, this afternoon as well. And it's not just a sitting listening session. We want you to be involved. Those of you who've been here before, leave us messages in the chat, say hi, tell us where you're from. If you have any questions, you can put your hand up. We would prefer it either at the end of a presentation from a speaker, or put your questions in the chat. We'll keep an eye on it, or at the very end. Again, share what you're doing. The whole point about this community is we share, we interact, we support each other. So share with as many people as you can to get some inspirational people involved with us. I'm not going to carry on talking for much longer because I've got some great speakers to introduce you to. But as I say again, we want your involvement. So we have a poll. We want your opinion. Please do respond. Hannah's going to activate in a minute, but it's basically asking you about, you know, how important face-to-face and how to develop the opportunities to engage face-to-face is at your school. There's 3 choices. Very committed, it happens, not very much, would like to develop, and it's a real challenge to get the face-to-face happening. So please vote, and thank you, I can see you are. Oh, brilliant. And I'm very happy to see that the large percentage are committed, and very few, it's a challenge for 1 or 2 of you, but not many, but that is great. Please give us your opinion. I think we have, is that everything? I think everybody has had a chance. Give you another couple of minutes to give you the opportunity to vote. I think everybody has voted now, looking at those percentages. Wonderful. So 64% are committed. That's good. I say 30%, still work to do, but only 12% is a challenge. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for doing that poll. We're going to let's stop sharing that now. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And we're going to get on. The other thing I always name and shame. We're going to take a photo session. So please put your cameras on. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. I'm going to stop sharing because then I can see. And I want to see people's faces. It is so much nicer for the speakers if we can see who they're talking to. So please put your cameras on, practice your smile, brush your hair, whatever you do, put your teeth in, and I'll give you 2 minutes to get yourself ready. I can still see people without cameras on. I'll let you turn it on or off after if you must, but I want to see some cameras on now. Come on. Oh, yeah, good. Thank you. Good to see you. Some nice familiar faces. Hi, everybody. Come on. There's a few more cameras to be turned on, and then we're going to say 1, 2, 3 and smile. Okay. We okay, Hannah? If I say smile, everybody. We've got 2 more minutes, and we're going to take a few screenshots. I've got to stop talking because every picture of me is with my mouth open and talking. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Okay, let's get on with the amazing lineup we've got for today. So we've done our little bit of a name and shame, but we have some amazing speakers, and I'm going to hand over to John, who's going to introduce them to you. Thanks, John.
Great, thanks, Tony. And indeed, it is an incredible, inspirational lineup of speakers we have for you today at our April Global School Alliance webinar. 4 speakers that I've been proud and delighted and honoured to work with and to know for many years. So it's a very big personal thank you to you all for your incredible work. Hello, Stuart. Stuart Cook is the assistant head of a small rural primary school in Lincolnshire. A proud Global School Alliance ambassador, Stuart is very committed to developing global learning across schools and has supported a large number of partnerships, particularly across the UK and Middle East region. So thank you, Stuart. And it's hello to Mayasa Alitani from Lebanon, a primary school teacher in Beirut and a passionate supporter of global connections and collaboration. Mayasa has a particular focus on empowering and educating young girls and women across the Middle East region, particularly with global communication. So a big thank you, Mayasa. And across to India and the wonderful Sanjay Kaka, who is Vice Principal of Bal Bharati Public School in Delhi in India. Love your motto, Sanjay. People who achieve their goals do so with passion, planning, persistence and purpose. The 4 great P's there. And Sanjay has always had a particular commitment to build bridges of communication across all cultures to help people connect with their peers across the globe, and was a recent winner of a major teaching award in India. So congratulations for that, Sanjay. And Sanjay shares that huge passion and commitment to all global activities for all her students. So a warm welcome, Sanjay. Great to have you with us. And across then to the UK and back to Liverpool, a warm welcome to the wonderful Jeremy Barnes. Jeremy heads up a large school in Liverpool. Has been head teacher there for 17 years and again shares that passion for global partnerships. His pupils have travelled to Belgium, France and Spain, and Jeremy's also developed teacher partnerships with China and Sierra Leone. great particular commitment to wider community involvement and has a visit from Prince William. So congratulations there, Jeremy, to have Prince William come to the school, and supports the work of British schools overseas with the Education Development Trust in UAE, Qatar, Thailand and Morocco. So without further ado, 4 wonderful speakers, again, a huge thank you from the Global School Alliance for contributing to what we talk about, that great conversation of humankind, and particular international teachers have got a huge place in that. So we can start with, over to you, Stuart. You're very welcome, where you'll be introducing the work from you and Mayasa.
Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, Mayasa can't be with us because they've got a bit of a problem with electricity in Lebanon at the minute. So unfortunately, we've had to record our presentation, but I will be on at the end to answer any questions that you might have. Like John said, we've had a partnership with Lebanon for about the last 12 years. So we've been very lucky to have lots of face-to-face interaction. Don't want to spoil our video. We've been busy recording this week. So over to you, John.
I think I'm sharing screen. Is that right? Thank you very much, Stuart.
Good to see you, Stuart, and good to see the flag of Lebanon behind you.
Okay, hopefully I can make this full screen. Are we okay? Let me know if you can everyone hear and see this.
Hello and welcome to our presentation. I'm Stuart Cook. I'm the assistant head teacher of a small rural primary school in Lincolnshire, England.
Hello, everyone. I am Yasser, and I'm a primary teacher in Beirut. And we have been in contact since 2012, my school and Stuart's school.
It's not moving. Okay, so we've come on to talk about how we have created our long-lasting, sustainable and equitable partnership. As Mayasa just said, we've been partners since 2012. So we're looking at where we started. We both had been in other partnerships and none of them had really worked. We'd done a couple of projects and it had started to dwindle out. So we contacted the British Council in the UK and asked them to suggest a partner. To be honest, I'd never really heard of Lebanon or Beirut other than what we heard about during the war in the 1980s. Didn't really know where it was, but we thought we would give it a go, as we thought it would be a really good and interesting partnership. Following the email we shared earlier, we decided that we wanted to apply for some funding to allow a face-to-face visit to go ahead. So in January 13, we applied for funding through the Connecting Classrooms scheme. And then luckily enough, we got to do our actual visits. I visited Lebanon in May 2013. And Mayasa got to visit us in the UK in September 2013. Then following this, we were lucky enough to secure funding for visits to take place every year up until 2019. And then COVID hit and we haven't been able to manage to do any more since then. So why do we think the face-to-face interaction was so important? I think that first visit back in 2013 was probably the most crucial part of our partnership, as it laid the foundations for the rest of, for the whole of the partnership. I think right until this day, like to the very day, we still think about that first visit and about what we achieved on that first visit, all the things that we put in place, like the things we discussed, how we were going to keep the partnership going. And I think it was that interactions that helped us to move the partnership on. I think this face-to-face interactions, it developed a really strong culture and managed to develop a really strong rapport between both schools. We were able to interact with the teachers and the children on that really personal level. It gave us that real deeper level to our partnership. I think again, I said, like it says, it helped us cement the partnership. It helped us to give us those blocks that we could build the partnership on. And it gave us that real life, like, face to our partnership. The children were able to interact with Mayasa when she visited our school. I was able to interact directly with the children when I visited her school. And it gave it more of a personal level rather than just on a professional level. And I think when we was in each other's school, it's different being able to discuss our thoughts in person rather than just doing it on a video screen or on a television, on a telephone or through WhatsApp or whatever. It gave us that kind of gave us a better interaction. It helped us to engage in the project more. We were able to plan directly what we wanted to achieve. We were able to put in place things for the next year for the children to be able to do, and kind of what we wanted to achieve from it. I think also we were very lucky enough that we secured enough funding to allow other teachers to visit. So it wasn't just myself and Mayasa visiting. Other teachers got to visit the school. So we were able to spread kind of it wider. We're able to get other people involved, other classes involved, other teachers were involved. We were able to get kind of more expertise, I suppose. We were able to get more people kind of working together, more children involved in it, working with other children. However, unfortunately, we'd have loved to take the children to visit each other's schools, but because of the political situation in Lebanon, we haven't managed to get any student exchanges. But as we go further through our presentation, we'll look at how we've used digital methods to allow that face-to-face interactions to occur. So my school, we're a very small church-aided primary school. We're called Francis Olive Anderson Primary School, and we're in a very rural part of Lincolnshire. We've only got about 190 pupils, but the thing about my school is we're 90% white British. We're very monocultural. The whole area our school's located in, we're quite near a small market town of Gainsborough, again, which is very white. The population of Gainsborough is about 18,000 people. So yeah, it's a very, very small school surrounded by fields, and yeah, lots of the children haven't really been far out of Gainsborough, really. The furthest they've been might be Lincoln. Lots of them have never even been to London or any of the big cities nearby. Our partnership was very lucky to be awarded or been shortlisted for some awards. We were shortlisted for the TS Awards in 2015, 2016, finally won it in 2017 for our international work. And then for our work with our partner school, we were also shortlisted in 2020 for the Community and Collaboration Award.
As for my school, we are a public school in the middle of Beirut, and we have nearly 600 students from ages of 3 to 14. What is very special in our school is that we have a variety of students from different countries and different nationalities. And we also have both Muslims and Christians. So having a school in UK, what brought into the school is the diversity of other communities, of other nationalities.
And I think what's also very special is that our schools are complete polar opposites of each other. And it's that contrast that we've really worked on, is trying to make sure that we're looking at those differences and also the similarities that we've got, and trying to make sure that the children realise that although we're in Gainsborough, there is a whole world out there. We're not just very insular in our little area of Lincolnshire. We're looking far beyond the world, preparing them for their life in like that global community.
Yeah, and for the students in my school, it was something different than what they have seen in movies and films. Okay. As you can see, we have done several activities. Nearly since 2012 until now, we have done more than 6 activities per year. And the most famous ones are the top 7. We have done activities related to British Sign Language or sign language. We made activities during lockdown, and they were the highlight of lockdown and COVID time. Students, although they were at home and they were stuck in their rooms, they were able to communicate and collaborate with the stewards of school, which was something that we are proud of. We also did some activities related to children's rights once they returned, and famous people around the world. The letters is something that students always look forward to. Exchanging letters, it's something that that gives the students a sort of audience that they have, pen pals. Now, in all activities, we try to include everyone. Inclusion is something that we always look for. Even if there is a barrier like English language in with our students, we try to do group work. We try to encourage students to do things that they are familiar with, use the topics that they know. Try not to feel them left out, no matter how simple the activity is. If they have language barrier, they can draw something, they can show, they can act things out, they can sing or sign.
So whenever we're starting a project, we kind of trying to think of like how we do it, and we've come up with these design principles. These are the things that when we're doing our projects, we think our best projects have been ones that we thought probably were the simplest. When we've tried to go too confusing, it's when they haven't worked as well. Our best projects have definitely been the simple one. But the things that we're thinking about is we've got to make it a two-way street. All the children in both schools have got to contribute. It can't just be one school doing everything and the other school kind of doing little. It's got to be an equitable thing. The children have got to contribute equally. And I think that's something that we've worked on lots over the last 12 years, is that making sure that we are doing all our projects and getting all the children involved, like Marcy said. Communication's a massive thing. We are always in constant communication. We're sending messages, the children in communication. Me and Mayasa, we've got a WhatsApp group, got other members in the school who are involved in it. So it's that regular, effective communication is a really big thing. And when we're planning projects, it's both schools planning them, not just me or just Mayasa. It's a very much a reciprocal thing that we're both thinking, what can we do to fit in with our school? I think another thing that's important is making sure that it supports what we're doing in school at the minute. It's not something that is just added on. When we're starting putting it as an add-on to the curriculum, it's when I think it gets watered down a bit. It's not something that is a big part of the school. It's something that you think adding on, haven't got enough time to do it. I think we've got it at the minute, it's a massive part of our curriculum. We always try to make sure that whatever we do is a quality piece of work. And I think the children really enjoy that. They know their work is going to be seen by a real life audience. It's not just something that's going to be shoved away in a book and never seen again. It is going to somebody else. So they are looking for a real quality piece of work. Looking at getting the feedback. So when we're sharing our work, the school in Lebanon feedback on our work, we feedback on them. We've come up with some questions to ask about their work. And we always have a FaceTime or Zoom meeting at the end of our project so we can get that feedback, that we can ask questions about their work, ask them questions, why did you chose to do that, or how could you improve it, or whatever. We always use our resources imaginatively. I think that's something we've really worked on, is how we can use our resources, what resources. And when we're talking about resources, it's the staff in both schools as well. What resources have we got staff-wise? What training have we been on? Can we share that between our schools? And also looking at the relationship between our schools and promoting that relationship between both schools. It's a massive part of both schools. We celebrate it on our Facebook pages, our Twitter pages, it goes out in school newsletters. And I think this last one is probably the main one, is that we celebrate the learning. It's something that we celebrate throughout school, throughout our whole community. Both schools are always celebrating our work. We're really proud of it. The children are proud of the work. And they love to share our work. Any visitors we have in school, they can't wait to tell them, wait to share our work that we've been doing. So it's really something that, yeah, they're incredibly proud of, something that they can't wait to tell visitors that come in about.
To start with the reasons, we really needed, both the schools, we really needed to break stereotypes from the students, but the most important thing is stereotypes from parents and communities. We had the urge to make students accept each other. It's not about them between each other as a school or as a class, but also with other cultures, other communities. We wanted to engage the school's community. And the most important thing of all is that we wanted to prepare students for life. We wanted them to be global citizens. We wanted them to enjoy the class, the session that they are learning, and at the same time, have fun, enhance their language skills, build on their knowledge, on their social skills. And the most important thing for my students was their self-esteem, because language was a barrier. Learning language was a barrier, and trying to speak in this language wasn't something very easy. And we also wanted to, as the steward said, we wanted to deepen the curriculum and not to add on it. We didn't want the teachers to think that it's something very difficult, or there's no time for them to do that. And it's something that helps, or that enforces the school's ethos and the values and the beliefs of the schools.
So why are both schools still working together? It's not a secret. These are the things that we think are the most important for our schools. We communicate, we collaborate, and we connect. These are the 3 C's that we're always working on. When we're talking about the communication and collaboration, we're giving those children voices to develop their opinions. We always have, like I said, we always have a video call. And with technology, the student collaboration is much easier to facilitate. They can much easier talk with their partners when it's over the video call. They can get a much better feel of each other's school. And it's kind of the thing that they most look forward to. At the end of every project, like I said, we always have a video call. We always make sure that the children get to see each other, get to ask questions about their work. And I think this is when the children realise that children around the world are going through the same as them. Like during lockdown, they realised it wasn't just children in England or whatever, it's children around the world that were in lockdown and children around the world that were having the effects of COVID. So it's kind of given them that feel that there is a world outside of England, outside of Gainsborough, getting them to think that further beyond their little small community, making sure that they're thinking about the whole world community. At the bottom, we've got all the different things that we use. One of the problems that we've come across when we're doing our projects is sometimes technology can let us down. So we have to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D.
All through to Z.
So if one technology doesn't work, we go to the next one, we go to the next one. So if we can't use Zoom, if Zoom's not working, or we can't connect via Zoom, then we'll go to Skype or Viber or WhatsApp. So we've got lots of different avenues to try and make sure that we can get these calls. It's being flexible, I think, is the main thing. So thinking about how we've managed to keep the partnership going. We've all the way through it, we've had clear goals and expectations. This is what we expect to achieve by the end of the project, making sure that both schools are aware that these are the expectations. This is what we're going, setting deadlines for when our projects need to be finished for, making sure that we stick to those deadlines, making sure that it is not just one school chasing up. We're very much always in constant communication, like the second one, regular communication. We've got so many different ways of communicating that we use regularly, sometimes daily. We're in daily communication, talking about our projects, and just kind of making sure that we've got that communication running, that we know if we send a message, we're going to get a reply from it. The shared projects and activities, these really build on a sense of collaboration and that shared purpose. It's making sure that the children realize that there is that shared purpose behind the work. So making sure that the children are aware of what we're aiming for. It's not just me and Mayasa thinking about what our projects are going to be. The children are involved in those projects, involved in the planning stages. I think the next one about the cultural sensitivity is an important thing to think about, is that we're very much aware that some things are off bounds or we're not talking about, and we're very respectful towards each other's cultures and understanding the customs and traditions of each other's countries. So making sure that we're aware of that and kind of celebrating that as well. Flexibility and adaptability. This is something that we've come really good at, is definitely the flexibility. If something doesn't work, we're very flexible and we'll change our plans to make sure they do work, or we'll go for, like I said, plan B or plan C if things aren't working, especially when it comes to technology. And I think that's the important thing. If it doesn't work, make sure that we've got some other avenue. We don't let the children down. If the children have been looking forward to a video call all week, we make sure that video call goes ahead. I think as well, clear lines of communication. Like I said, communication is a massive thing. We have those regular check-ins. We have those designated point of contacts between our partnerships, which is me and Mayasa. Sharing resources. If one of us says has got a really good resource to share, we'll share it, even if it's not to do with the project. If we found something that helps us with our lessons or helps us in school. Mayasa came on to talk to the year ones about Ramadan and Eid. So it's having that expertise that we wouldn't have otherwise in our school. And the long-term planning is making sure that we've got our projects planned out for the rest of the year. What else are we going to do? What's on next project? Not thinking like, what should we do next? It's planned out. We're doing this term, this term, because it fits in with both our curriculums. It does require lots of effort, but I think the effort we're putting in is definitely worth it, and it's helping us really kind of build on those shared goals in both our schools.
This is a video of students who graduated, and they are sharing with us their thoughts and the impact of the activities that they had that they still remember. You're gonna see two brothers, Ali and Omar, and then there is Huda.
I am Ali Dukmak. I graduated from Muhammad Shamma School in 2020. During my years there, my friends and I did several activities that covered many subjects, but my first one was my favorite. We had to introduce our culture and country to our friends in Lincoln. We learned about their country and culture. Then we combined everything in a book. It was nice seeing our illustrations and everything we learned together.
Another activity I remember is when we had a video call and talked about influential women. I remember that we had a lot of common interests. For example, we all liked Malala. Being in different countries doesn't mean we are different. We all had similar interests and even similar backgrounds. We are the same, it's just that we live in different countries and speak different languages.
This connection had a huge impact on my personality. It made me become stronger, more independent, more confident. And it made me believe in myself that I can meet, greet, and talk to new people I have never met before and I know nothing about. And I learned that the world see us only based on the news that's spreaded. So this way, the connection was a unique way to deliver our thoughts, to speak for ourselves.
It was interesting to be in a situation that made us want to speak in English, and even sending letters that made us use the written language, which isn't even our mother tongue. It taught me the importance of speaking my mind out, seeking opportunities, and reaching the good in people.
And with Ruba, we finished the video.
So I hope you enjoyed our presentation. I'm sorry we couldn't be there in person tonight, but if you have any questions, please send us a message below or find us on Twitter.
Fantastic. Congratulations. That was brilliant. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Marissa. Our best wishes to you, Marissa. And absolutely those 3 C's that I think everybody was saying, yes, let's communicate, collaborate and connect. That was really, really wonderful. Thank you so much, Stuart.
I was looking at Stuart's face. He's very cringing. It's horrible hearing your own voice, isn't it?
But that was great. Do feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Stuart, thank you for staying with us, but that was really wonderful. And many congratulations on 12 great years. Looking forward to the next 12 years. Okay, so we move across now from the UK and Lebanon to the wonderful Sanjay Kaka, who is Vice Principal of Balbarati Public School in India. I know that you're not feeling too well, Sanjay, but many, many thanks for joining us today. Over to you, Sanjay.
Hello, greetings everybody. And thank you, John. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everybody at GSA for facilitating this. And my journey started in 2004, and John was our mentor at that time. So imagine we've crossed so many years, about 2 decades since we met John, and where we introduced the International School Award and internationalism for the first time. But we as a school, and I had been personally involved even a decade ago, earlier than that, so 1993, we had started with our physical face-to-face exchanges. At that time, there were no awards or rewards, but we were there in it just because it excited us so much, just because we had a school principal who had a great vision about world as a family. And we've carried that legacy forward for now about 3 decades. So it's not surprising that we have won International School Awards 6 times now. And we are a veteran at doing that. And we've done about 90 schools with whom we've done about 52 school partnerships. And since John trained us, since then, I think I have personally trained for about 500 teachers in hundreds of schools, including those in China and Vietnam. And we have participated not only in offline exchanges, but also in so many online projects through video conferencing. So therefore, our work has spanned not only many decades, but many continents, many countries, and such a variety. But still, I say that our work is not as perfect as what we saw in the previous presentation by Stuart. And congratulations, Stuart, for a long-standing partnership. I may have numbers to boast of, but I don't have a long-standing partnership like yours to boast of. I have a story of many failures. While I celebrate my successes, but I have learned valuable lessons from many, many failures. So the reason I have so many partnerships is because these partnerships failed after, or these partnerships were short-lived ones. And so they survived for certain times till the project was going on. And after that, they probably did not. So I was personally in awe of the partnership which you were sharing, which had spanned and done so well over past 12 years. I would like to share a glimpse of the partnerships and the kind of work we do in the schools. So may I request you to, Hannah, if she's moving on to the little film clipping, which shows a variety of partnerships and a variety of physical face-to-face exchanges, which we have done in our school, which is in New Delhi, called as Bal Bharti Public School, Dwarka.
When you're writing a blog on something that's as delicate as religion, you have to take into account all the people and how they have grown up and how religions have influenced them.
There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky, and you ask, what if I fall? But my darling, what if you fly? And Generation Global has helped me develop my confidence, and without there being a sense of being judged.
Particular topic is that we got to learn that all the communities are basically the same. Like maybe their way of expressing a particular topic is different, but the actual essence of each religion or each community is different.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So nice to meet you.
As well.
Done a great job.
Okay, it was a real pleasure to be here at Bal Bharti in Dwarka this morning, listening to a group of students talking about their experience of working on the Generation Global programme. It's a particular honour because Bal Bharti Dwarka is where we came to do one of the first teacher training workshops nearly 10 years ago in India when the programme had just started. So it's fantastic to hear that the school is carrying on with that work. The students were really articulate. They spoke very movingly actually about some of the impacts of the programme, both in terms of their own confidence, but also their kind of the way their knowledge had increased of other people. Several students spoke about talking to students in Pakistan and learning about sort of different values and beliefs that people had, but also reflected on the kind of the similarities that they realised existed between themselves and students elsewhere in the world. They're a really lovely group of people and a real credit not just to the school but to their parents and their broader community. So thank you very much. It's been lovely to be here.
All right, thank you for having us today at Bal Bharti. It's been such an honour to meet and be able to speak to the students. I can see they are so bright, they are so well articulated. It was really useful and valuable for us as Generation Global to hear from them about their experiences, what they have learned, and how they have actually used the resources and the video conferences to enhance their own skills. So it was really fantastic.
Thank you to Bal Bharti School for having us here. I think children were fantastic. They all were very honest with their answers.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now, wish me luck.
Sorry, is it all three you wish me to show at the same time, Sandhya?
Yes, I mean, yeah, you can go on to the next one. So this was about the impact the students felt. And our next video is about a teacher's visit to Bal Bharti. And this was through a Connecting Classroom Partnership grant that we acquired through British Council.
And the next one as well.
Yeah, thank you. But just that the first video showed that how we wanted to extend the experience of international partnerships to all students, and whether they could afford to visit a foreign country or not. So there, the video conferences came in very, very handy. The second was when we could get a grant for a teacher to come up and visit our schools, we could pack a multitude of experiences within 1 week of the teacher's visit and impact almost 1,000 students at one go by providing them different slots with the visiting teacher. But our dream has always been to facilitate the exchange between students. So our goal next was always to provide physical exchange between students, because there cannot be a better learning experience than actually visiting another country. And we were fortunate enough to be having visitors from USA, visitors from Mexico, from New Zealand, from China, and delegations visiting the schools, our students visiting Spanish schools, UK schools. So those experiences have left an indelible impact on students as well as teachers, and has also, changed the way we would imagine the education in our schools to be in future. So thank you. You can play the next video.
Our school has always been striving to go that extra mile, and I can proudly say that our school has made its presence felt in various areas at the international level. So let's have a look on some of our foreign exchange programs. has always been striving.
Thank you. So what you saw was a glimpse of what happens in a school where there are a lot of visitors. We can shift to the next slide. And since there are a lot of visitors, they bring in a variety of experiences. And these experiences leave an indelible impact on our students. And yes, COVID did affect us, our exchanges, and we were like everybody else across, we were only left with online options of continuing the exchanges. But I'm so glad the COVID is on its way out and we can go back to face-to-face exchanges. So our latest exchange, which we did last year, was Commonwealth Connections project. And I was very fortunate to have been selected to lead the Commonwealth Connections project, for which we received a grant of £3,050 from British Council for promoting cross-cultural learning. And we were able to initiate it in the COVID times when athlete mentor from UK, Jenny Walwork, was a badminton champion who had come to India during Commonwealth Games, had come in to mentor students at Bal Bharati. And since COVID was on, we had to opt to an online session with Jenny. We did initiate yoga exchange, capacity building sessions for music and dance teachers. But as we saw that COVID was on its way out, we were very fortunate to have got an extra bounty of money to support the visit of UK theatre artist Joseph Jankare to India. And he took lessons in Broadway theatre for students in 6 cluster schools. So in 1 week of his visit, he impacted students in 6 schools in New Delhi, and where he trained students in the way of British theatre. And our students were able to put up a culmination event, a musical theatre in British Council, New Delhi, where they displayed songs from the production Wicked. So if you can run this video, please.
May we now switch the screen for the project video by Bal Bharati Public School, Dwarka?
Oh, it's brilliant to see you all. Thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this. So it's about sharing lots of different practices.
Greetings everyone. Today we are here to represent Surya Namaskar on behalf of Bal Bharati Public School Dwarka under the project of Commonwealth.
Step 1. Pranam Asan, the prayer pose. Step 2.
Hello, my name is Joseph and I work for the British Council. I've had such an amazing time here. We've done No One Moors the Wicked and I had an amazing time teaching the children.
Presenting No One Mourns the Wicked by the students of Bal Bharati Public School, Dwarka.
The wickedest witch there ever was, the enemy of all of us, here it comes. The wickedest heart of the wicked.
Thank you
May
very
we now
much.
switch the screen for the project video by
Thank you very much. So what you just see is our small glimpses of projects which have been deeply embedded in the psyche of students and teacher participants who worked on these projects. So may I request you to shift to the next slide? And therefore, our list of projects and schools have become endless, and it's not possible for us to accommodate in any slide or presentation. So we just take a random look at the numbers and the names. So whether they are numbers or the name, they are meaningless for us. But what is more meaningful is the impact they have left on the students and teachers who have participated in these exchanges. Could you please shift to the next slide, please? And as Stuart said in his previous presentation, the impact is very, very far-reaching. But what I lay on top of the impact is a large community of global friends it has given us and to me personally. And I can see some of my friends here in this conference as well. It needless to say, when students participate in such events, just as we heard from the previous presentation, you can see a raised self-esteem and self-confidence. And yes, you learn to use ICT skills to the optimum, and you understand how to work in teams and use 21st century skills. So these are not just textbook words, you live them in real life. And because you create meaningful projects and you help children understand what are active citizenship skills. As an administrator, we figure out many new resources, many new ways of doing the same things in a better way. And overall, it does raise the standards of teaching and learning in the class. And needless to say that the school recognition and branding also improves significantly. Thank you. Can you shift to the next slide, please? Yes, so this is one of my prized pictures where we received the Outstanding Award from Tony Blair Faith Foundation, which was later renamed as Generation Global, in appreciation for building dialogue among young people of different faith and identities, which I think is so much more important considering conflict and war all around us. It's very important for people making decisions today to understand that where they are throwing a bomb, there are kids, there are people, there are houses, and there are friends there. So they must think, I don't know about 1,000 times before waging war on any part of the world. And this picture is again very, very special to me. This would not have happened. I mean, a teacher would not have got an opportunity to be clicked besides famous Prime Minister Tony Blair had it not been for participation in these face-to-face interactions. So that's the real prize which we get after participating in these events. You get some of those very rare moments which you cherish for a long time, and this one was one of those. And if I look and try to measure the impact in administrative terms, this partnership, a cluster partnership, which I initiated in 2007, was a UCARI cluster partnership in which we had 6 schools from India participating in a cluster partnership with 4 UK schools. The amount of funding we got, we could facilitate exchange visits of 6 principals and 17 teachers between India and UK. And most of these people who participated in these visits were first-time foreign travelers. I still remember the excitement writ on their faces when they first had their hands on their passports and a visa stamp on it, and they said, oh, so we are going to a foreign land. And when I look behind, each one of them has impacted their schools in such a magnificent way and have carried forward the legacy of international exchanges in their respective schools and won international school awards and many awards for their own schools. So I feel grateful for facilitating such an impactful exchange. And this one is an excerpt from a report which was submitted in 2008 after the first visit of the principals to the schools, how the principals found the infrastructure at the disposal of the teachers, even in state-run schools, and they saw that how it could add up to benefit the students. Easy access to ICT tools such as interactive whiteboards, projectors, internet, and so on in every classroom allows a free flow of creativity and new ideas where teacher can plan their lessons more effectively and interestingly. Please understand, 2008, we did not have internet in our classrooms. We had only limited access to the internet in the principal's room, and principals were vowed to see so much of access to ICT and internet in the classrooms. And that guided their vision, and slowly and steadily policies and reforms brought in that change. And today we have all classrooms ICT enabled. So look at the reach and the impact which a physical face-to-face visit brings, and especially when that visitor is a school leader or a teacher with a great vision. Yes, it brings about so much of recognition, and I feel really grateful to be recognized as one of the members of assessment panel, and being a member of the assessment panel at the International School Award. I have had the privilege of sharing so many success stories that it reiterates my belief in the positivity that the real life exchanges bring in. So what started as a small step with a single project for an exchange was equivalent to a seed sown, and it reaped multitude of benefits to such a large number of people that today I've lost the count. And I always say that probably a seed sown in 1993 was a seed of a banyan tree, and today I cannot figure out which was the original branch or which was the original stem of this gigantic banyan tree, which has spanned continents, schools, people, teachers, and impacted so many people around the globe. For me personally, being a British Council School Ambassador has been a totally enriching experience, from which I continue to benefit till date. I have access to such inspiring people in my group, and such inspiring stories, such as today's story, which I heard from Stuart. I have so many lessons to take away from. And if you look at this next picture, this is what I say, that when I teach about Great Wall of China, I could never explain, I could never understand myself how Chinese were able to defend their large country by erecting a wall around their country, unless I myself stood up on that wall during one of my exchange visits to understand how gigantic that monument was and how much power it had. So you need a live experience to be able to feel the impact of a real life thing. And this last picture is priceless again, because it again tells me that when you step into a different land, you win so many new friends, and most important, you find so many ways to enrich yourself, and food is one of the most enticing part of it. There is no way you can taste food on a video conference or an online exchange project. You have to be there to experience authentic food. And I think that's a great reason to do the exchange, besides so many other lofty sounding reasons. Thank you very much.
Wow. Fantastic, Sandra. Absolutely agree with you about the food. And nothing beats those face-to-face connections. And as you so wonderfully spoke about those small steps, sowing the seeds of engagement. And certainly every one of us at the Global School Alliance remain committed to maintaining face-to-face connections and ensuring that young people and leaders get those experiences. So that was really wonderful. Thank you so much.
I want to say that, again, Sandy is not well. She has very kindly joined us this afternoon, or this evening, and I'm very unwell. So thank you very much for that. And like I say, that it is such a shame that funding has disappeared. Hopefully it will come back again, but we can still get these partnerships. We're happy to help support partnerships and make them maybe last a bit longer. Hopefully through the community that we are developing here. So if any school does need more partnerships, we're happy to set those up for you. Thank you.
That was great. Look after yourself, Sandra, and hope to see you again soon, face to face. Okay, so we're moving across now from the wonderful Balbharati to the UK and to the wonderful Jeremy Barnes, who's actually at a conference today. So great you could join us, Jeremy. And over to you to tell us about your great work.
Thank you, John. And good afternoon to everybody here at this wonderful conference. You may well know that in about 2 weeks' time, Liverpool hosts the Eurovision Song Contest. And I kind of feel like I should be going, hello, Romania, or come in, India, because it's so great to see so many people on the screen from all over the world. So I'm talking to you here from Liverpool. I am the head teacher of a primary school in Liverpool, and I kind of got a couple of other hats as well, in that I have a very strong personal interest in global systems of education across the world. I kind of often think, wouldn't it be great if we could find out about all the different education systems across the world and learn from each other? It doesn't happen enough. And I've also got a hat that I do work as an inspector or consultant across the world, looking at British schools overseas. And I find that a great privilege to be able to go to schools where they are operating a British curriculum and support them with their development. But I want to talk to you this afternoon about the work as a head teacher, and in particular over the last 12 years. So Tony's going to move on to the first slide here. And just to put a little bit of context, we've been working since around about 2010, 2011, and it's really kind of snowballed the opportunities that we've been able to provide for our children and our staff. On the left-hand side, we've had 4 trips where we've been able to take pupils and staff to Belgium. And that's been as part of a residential holiday, so the children have worked for 4 or 5 days on all sorts of outdoor activities, almost like joining in the Belgium system there for a week. And that was self-funded, so we had to find the money ourselves for that. On the right-hand side, a really very deep partnership, which we're very, very proud of, with schools in Waterloo in Sierra Leone. And that's very much through the Connecting Classrooms initiative, which you've seen from our other 2 colleagues there, through the British Council. That's been a little bit on hold since COVID. We've been in touch through WhatsApp, and we're hoping that we can get that back up and running shortly. I'll talk more about that as one of my examples. And then on the next slide, 2 other key partnerships. On the right, 2 schools that we've been working with very much for staff on this one, although we did, I put 2020 with an exclamation mark, because we were all set to take a group of children and parents to one of our partner schools in March 2020, and we all know what happened then. So that had to be aborted, sadly. And on the left-hand side, we have a work that we've been doing with a school in Seville in Spain. And I'm going to use that as my second example. So what I'd like to do is just give you two examples, really, to try to explain or to give you some insight into why we think the face-to-face exchanges and opportunities for pupils to meet each other and experience the culture of each other's countries, why we think that is so important. And I'll maybe give you some little tips that we've learned along the way. I'd like to start with this phrase, moments of collective joy. We can get very hung up by details within our partnership work, around curriculum possibly, around the sort of nuts and bolts of exchanges. But when pupils come together, and my examples both include music here, and they experience that partnership and that sense of participation in a shared project and endeavor, I can only describe it as a moment of collective joy. And those moments are left as an indelible imprint on the children that I think will last for the rest of their lives. And you can only have that when you are together. It's not the same over a computer. Mohammed, you see there, he's a child with, he's completely blind. And when we brought the Sierra Leone children, we brought a mixture of sighted children and blind children to join in with this incredible musical adventure, which culminated in this concert at the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic Hall in 2019. And that was a moment of collective joy. So moving on, I'd first of all just like to explain a little bit more about this project as a host. So for this particular exchange, we acted as the host. Now, I have to say, I was fortunate enough to have a sabbatical from my head teacher's duty for a few months. And I did a number of things, but one of the things was I was able to spend some time really researching how I could get funds, how I could draw down the amounts of money that was required to bring the pupils and the staff over. We worked very closely with the British Council on that, but we did have to secure our own funds. And I looked for sponsorship and fundraising to do that. When the children and staff arrived, one of the things that we had to do was prepare them culturally for what they were about to come into, because for these children and the staff, it was the first time that they'd been out of Sierra Leone. And as you can see, even though this was in the middle of summer, they were cold and we had to get them ready for that. But there they came and we were able to begin 3 weeks of exchange activity. On the next slide, I wanted just to share with you what I believe is a really important part of communication, that it's great. So many of you speak fantastic English across the world, but we mustn't think in Britain that everybody speaks English, and we mustn't have that arrogance to expect everybody to. And if people don't speak our language, it's important that we try to find common language. And that's why we've chosen music as our key strand, because that crosses that boundary of language. But it can also be in games, playground games, and really within the first week that the pupils came, they were teaching each other playground games that they knew. And because half the children were visually impaired, they were games that everybody could join in with. And I think my colleagues previously from the other schools mentioned that importance of inclusion with our partnerships. Okay, I wanted to include this slide just to say that when you're planning these exchange visits, don't underestimate the desire of business, the business community, to support us. You'll be very, very surprised to know that a lot of them within their corporate social responsibility footprint are very, very keen to get involved. And even if they might not be able to provide funding, they might be able to provide funding in kind, payments in kind. We were very lucky that the O2 franchise in the Merseyside sponsored a lot of the pupils and also gave them mobile phones with visual technology so that the blind children could access them as well. So that was a major part and took quite a lot of work, but provided quite a significant amount of funding. So wider partnerships are crucial to exchange visits. When you're hosting, also think about the diaspora. Are there already local groups within the town, the city, the area that have a connection with the exchange that you are organising. And we got involved with the Sierra Leone Association of Merseyside, and we had a wonderful celebration event at the end of the project. And as you can see, we managed to even get I think that's the European Cup, or it's certainly a replica of the European Cup that Liverpool Football Club won, and everybody was delighted to be able to hold that. But you can see there just the joy of the children's faces with their new friendships. So that's just to sort of conclude with that. As I say, it was a lot of work. It was very, very, as you can imagine, to be able to bring children from Sierra Leone over. But that was the culmination of about 9 years of partnerships where teachers would go over every year during their half-term holiday. And I think that, again, underpins the culture that we're trying to engender with the school, that it is such an important part of what we do, that teachers are prepared to give up their holidays to take advantage of the Connecting Classrooms funding and visit their colleagues to support and develop those partnerships. So I'd now like to just talk you through the other way round. So this is taking pupils abroad for those exchange visits. Do you know, primary school pupils historically, just didn't do this. It was always seen to be the preserve of secondary. And I'm greatly indebted to a colleague who sadly passed away last month, Steve Sanderson, who was an inspirational head teacher. Sandy referred there to somebody who was an inspiration to her. And so much of these exchanges and visits will be as a result of inspiration. And Steve certainly was that to me. And he was the one that said, well, why shouldn't primary schools take their children abroad? And he was a bit of a pioneer there. And it is absolutely possible. So this is only last month, and we took 30 pupils aged 10 and 11 to Seville in Spain for a partnership with a school in the city. I think you might have noticed, just a minute, Tony, you might have noticed in a previous slide from Sandia that having a colour coordination is a great tip when you're taking children abroad. We had big red hoodies where we could see them everywhere. And as well, it gives that sense of sort of corporate, we're a group together on an adventure together. And in the beautiful Plaza de España, the children were able to enjoy some sightseeing before they visited their school. So on visiting their school, a key part of this is friendships, breaking down stereotypes, that's been mentioned already. Exploring, we did quite a lot of work with the teachers on exploring what are our similarities, what do we share, and what differences can we experience and learn from each other. We were very fortunate in that the Spanish children spoke very good English, but indeed, even now, a month later, the children are asking, can we have a video? Can we get back in touch with our friends? The next slide. Again, a little bit like the collective moments, or the moments of collective joy. And I think I'd underestimated the impact of this part of the visit. When children are part of an exchange visit, a face-to-face exchange visit, they're able to see historical monuments of the places that they're going, which I can only say, take your breath away. And the children, I thought maybe 10, 11, it might pass them by a little bit. None of that. They were absolutely captivated. And one boy turned round to me one day during the visit and just said, this is absolutely beautiful. And for children from inner city Liverpool, to be able to experience something quite so magnificent, and I think this photograph captures it quite well, in the Alcázar in Spain, an incredible building over 1,200 years old. New experiences, absolutely the food, completely agree with that. On the right-hand side, that was quite a tough one for the children. That was really going out of their comfort zone to have to try different food. That's something I think we probably could have prepared them for a little bit more if we were going to do this again. I wasn't very happy with some of the waste for example. And on the left-hand side, taking part in the timetable of the school and seeing how lessons are delivered differently. This was a PE lesson. And going out of that comfort zone. So we talked a lot about confidence, which is absolutely true, and independence and so on, but also resilience, being put into situations which are, you know, a bit testing. And that, I think, is a really good part of the face-to-face experience. But at the heart of what we did both in Sierra Leone and in Spain, at the heart of the joint planning was a appreciation of the joy of music and how we can come together. With Sierra Leone, it was with singing, and with Seville, it was forming a joint orchestra. So the children took over their instruments, violas and violins. We were able to borrow the cellos when we got there, thanks to the partner school. And for the first part of the week, the children would have rehearsals together. This is in conjunction with the Liverpool Philharmonic. So all the music had been sent over previously. The children were rehearsing independently. And then they came together to deliver 3 concerts, one to their fellow pupils, one to their the parents of the school in Seville, and then one we were lucky to have a connection with the town hall, and we were able to play outside at the town hall in Seville. And there they are bowing, and an extra little surprise was the interest from the local television network. And I think we're able just to see the little live feed that they did showing some of the concerts. I think that's on the next slide.
I'm not sure the link came across, sorry.
It was within the PowerPoint. It was embedded in the PowerPoint. So
John, did you have that? Unfortunately, I got sent a PDF version. I wasn't sent the PowerPoint.
Right, yeah. If it's a PDF version, it won't.
I think that's the only one I've got, unless any of my colleagues have got the video. Have you got the video, John? No?
Sorry, we've only got the PDF, Jeremy. I'm
Oh,
so
okay.
sorry about that.
All right, what a shame.
Oh, sorry. We will share it though, but when we share the recording of this, we'll share the actual video on the site.
Yeah, we were very fortunate. That's Andalusia direct news, and they went over to Seville and filmed the children. And you can actually hear, if you understand the language, you can hear parents talking to the television reporter about the impact of the partnership on his child. And he'd only been meeting our pupils for 3 days at that point. Now, one thing that's very important, and as the head teacher, I've been very determined about this, is that the partnerships that we've created aren't seen as being a peripheral part of the school's work, something a little bit extra that's nice and whatever, but it's, you know, it's not crucial. I've said right from the outset, this is at the center of what we do. As a Catholic school, of course, we have one aspect, which is the Pope's care for our common home, which is very much central. But in a secular way, we very much value the UN global goals. They are emblazoned around our hall and threaded right the way through our curriculum. And then we work on those projects with our partner schools. And then, as you can see here, our house system follows our partner schools. So on the top left, Rouen in France, that's now Seville because we've changed. In the top right is Waterloo, Sierra Leone. The bottom left is Chongqing in China, and the bottom right is Flanders in Belgium. So constantly, even when there are house competitions going on, the children are familiarizing themselves with these names, with these places in the world, that as they go through the school, they get more and more accustomed to. So again, a tip really is to ensure that your face-to-face partnerships are not seen as peripheral in the school's work, but absolutely central to everything we do. So my final reflections are that if you're wanting to set up a face-to-face partnership, you will need funding and you will need support. So clearly the Global Schools Alliance, who are with today, British Council, despite Brexit, are still active. The Turing Trust is the kind of, if you're a UK school anyway, is possible way of applying for funding. And I'm sure in your host countries, there may well be government or government funding that you can access. And I'm sure the Global Schools Alliance would support you with that. I'd stress the profitability of getting as many links within the community, whether it's business, whether it's the voluntary sector, arts organisations, for example, for us with the Liverpool Philharmonic. They can enrich whether you're hosting or whether you're visiting, they can enrich the experience for the children and possibly provide payments or payments in kind. I would suggest focusing on one common thread. As Stuart said before about keeping it simple, and I completely agree. So find one common thread. For us, it was music, and really focus on that as a partnership. It's important that those partnerships are sustainable, as we saw in both of the other presentations, that these are over a number of years and they are built on year by year. Something that is just a 2 or 3 week thing is not going to work. And it has to come from the school's values. It has to be central to what the school is doing. It cannot be something, oh, we just tick that off, we've done that, now we can move on. That's probably going to cause more problems than it solves, actually. And then my final slide is to bring you up to date. And I think Sandhya pointed to this in her presentation when she talked about war. When we're working as teachers together across the world, we are providing solidarity with each other. And I've been very privileged. On the left-hand side, this was in 2019, and we organized a Global Schools Conference in Liverpool, and teachers from these countries came. And if you think of where the world is now, those Belarusian teachers can't protest. In 2019, they were able to tell us about what was happening, but they can't protest now, and it's very difficult for them to be able to maintain those partnerships. And similarly, China's changed. We've got a different situation in Europe, obviously. And then on the right-hand side, this is current. So this, we're very fortunate that because of the success of the Seville trip and the song that the children had done with their Seville school, the British Council have asked us to lead on a project for the Eurovision Song Contest, which I hope you'll be able to watch in your own countries 2 weeks on Saturday. And we are working with a school in Kiev on a joint online concert, which is 2 weeks tomorrow. And just being able to talk to them last week online, we're able to offer that solidarity for the situation that they're in and hear about the inspiring work that they're doing, maintaining education in very, very difficult circumstances. So if anything, global partnerships and face-to-face exchanges provide a huge and high degree of solidarity with our fellow educators across the world. And I would just finish by saying I thoroughly, thoroughly recommend the process. It's very hard work. It doesn't happen like that. And it's about sustainability with your partners across the world. And thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Jeremy. That was fantastic. And it's always du revoir to you and your school for your really, really inspiring work. And I love your reference as well to moments of collective joy, because I think that really brings together what this work is all about. It's having those authentic experiences, and what you're doing, not only in your amazing school, but also to support schools across the globe is truly inspiring. So thank you for that. So yeah, you've heard all of our wonderful presentations. Would anybody like to ask a question? Raise their hand and ask a question. We still have Jeremy and Sandhya with us.
Is there anything in the chat, John? I didn't have a chance to check the chat to see if there are any questions.
There's lots of
congratulations.
Lots of congratulations. Everyone's saying how amazing and inspiring and excellent this is. You will receive everyone's PowerPoints and contact details, because we know there was a lot of information there and everyone is still buzzing around those amazing presentations.
I think the one point that actually stood out to me, which was the common thread as well, was that getting it embedded, having it at the heart of the school. It's not an add-on, and having that embedded, and that is all down to amazing leadership and amazing teachers that you all are, that are out here. Without your energy, without your inspiration, it wouldn't happen. And I think that is what is so amazing, and you should all congratulate yourselves.
No, it really is fantastic. So without further ado, we just want to say a huge thank you to our wonderful contributors, to Stuart, to Marissa, to Sanja, and to Jeremy. We always say it, but it's so true, you are the most important people in the world. Globally minded educators who are bringing the world into their classrooms every day and providing some incredibly inspiring examples of how the world can communicate and collaborate. So a big thank you from us all at the Global School Alliance. Do join us if you haven't already joined. And do consider becoming an ambassador, a great way of sharing and celebrating all the wonderful work involved. And also don't forget to download your certificates. The link for that is in the chat.
Well, when this ends as well, when I stop sharing or when we close it down, there will be a chance to complete a survey, and that's another way to register to get your attendance certificate for this. Everyone always asks, what's your certificates? So if you do the survey for us, then you'll be able to download it, no problem. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody.
And do enjoy Eurovision next month. Thanks, Jeremy. Good
Thanks,
to see
everybody.
everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Farewell.
much. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you.
Bye now. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.